Hey students, we're going to start working on one-step equations, and the reason they call them one-step equations is because you can solve them in one step. And one step means one operation. You are going to add, subtract, multiply, or divide. But the secret to knowing which one to do is looking at what you have in front of you and doing the opposite, or undoing it. So to solve an equation, you want to undo the equation. So for instance, in this first one here, x plus 5 equals 13, I look at my variable as being x, my unknown, and I'm adding 5 to it. So to undo adding 5, I'm going to subtract 5. And you see that? So to undo 5, I'm going to subtract 5. I'm going to write a little smaller so you can see what's going on, okay? To undo 5, I'm going to subtract 5. Now I need to do it to both sides because I got to keep my equation equal here. So 5 minus 5, that goes away, and I'm left with x equals 13 minus 5, which is 8. And let's see if that is true. I'm going to come back up to my original equation. I'm going to say is if x is 8 plus 5 equal to 13, and that is true. Fiery check mark. Awesome. Let's go to this next one here. So to undo my 5, so I look for my variable. I see that I'm adding, so to undo adding, or do the opposite, I'm going to subtract 5 from both sides. So those clear out. 5 minus 5 is 0. That's what I want to do. I want to let x be all by itself. And then 3 minus 5, I'm going to the negatives. It's actually negative 2. I'm going to put it back on my original equation to see if it's true. Negative 2 plus 5 equals 3. If that's true, it is. Fiery check mark. All right, let's keep going. The plot thickens. Okay, this situation here, I have negative 2 plus m. Now, I do see that it's adding m, but it's negative. And I want it to clear out. I want it to go away. I want to find out how much m is. So to get away a negative 10, I need to add 10 to both sides. So even though I see addition here, technically I need to be thinking subtraction, but really what's happening is I need to clear out that negative 10, and I'm going to do that by adding 10. So negative 10 plus 10 is 0. That's gone, and I'm left with m equals 2 plus 10 is 12. So let's see if that's true. Plugging it back in, negative 10 plus 12 is 2, and that is true. Fiery check mark. All right, let's check over here. It's positive 10, so I'm going to subtract 10 from both sides because I want it to like zero out. I want it to go away. So I'm left with m equals 2 minus 10, so I'm left with negative 8. A quick check here. 10 plus negative 8. If I'm at 10 on the number line and I go toward the negatives 8 steps, I'm left at 2. Fiery check mark. Oh, this is good stuff. All right, let's see what's going on here. W minus 5 equals 7. Okay, I'm subtracting 5, and I want that to zero out, so I'm going to add 5 to both sides. I have to do it to both to keep it equal. That's the key. So negative 5 plus 5, it zeroes out, so I'm left with W equals 7 plus 5, which is 12. 12 minus 5 is 7. True. Let's look over here. W minus 5 equals negative 10. So again, I want to undo that. I want to add 5 to both sides. And you do need to show all your work on these things so we can see the steps that are happening. Negative 5 plus 5 is going to still be in the negative. So if you're at negative 10 on the number line and go up 5, you're at negative 5. So negative, let's see if it's true. Negative 5 minus 5. Actually, I didn't need. Yeah, if you're at negative 5, go down 5 more, you're at negative 10. Fiery check mark. Whoa, what's happening here? Crazy business. A negative and a negative. So it's like subtracting a negative. All right, I'm going to rewrite this because subtracting a negative is the same as adding a positive. The only way to take away debt is to add into it. So when you're subtracting a negative, it's like adding. So now I can see what to do. G minus 2 equals 3. I'm going to subtract 2 from both sides to zero that out. G equals 3 minus 2. I'm left with 1. A dun da dun da dun da dun da dun. Same thing over here. G minus negative 6 is the same as adding. The only way to take away debt is to put money in, is to add. So G plus 6, I'm going to subtract 6 from both sides. I'm left with G equals 13 minus 6. Was that like 7? It's like 7. All right, one-step equations. You do the opposite of what you see, all right? Let's look at these guys right here. Now, notice all these, they're all multiplication problems. I'm looking at the variable, I'm multiplying, and the way you say, right, this is saying 5 times x. This is the coefficient. So 5 times x, the way you undo multiplication is to divide. So 5 times x, I'm going to divide by 5. Okay, 5 over 5 is 1, so I'm left with 1x equals 15 divided by 5 is 3. So it's true. In my original equation, 5 times 3 is 15. Fire a check mark. All right, next one. Okay, I'm multiplying by negative 5, so I am going to divide by negative 5. I got to do it to both sides. Negative 5 divided by negative 5 is positive 1, and that's what I want. I want to be left with 1x and a positive x. So 15 minus 5 is 3, but a positive divided by a negative will be negative. Let's check out my original problem here. Negative 5 times negative 3 is going to be positive 15, because a negative divided by, or times a negative will be positive. Fire a check mark. All right, let's keep going. Like, yeah, don't stop. Come on. Hang in here with me. All right, I'm going to change color. Maybe that'll help. Brown? Yeah, probably not, but let's try it. 3 times x. So to undo multiplying by 3, I'm going to divide by 3. Okay, 3 over 3 is 1, so I'm left with 1x. Negative 12 divided by 3. So how many times is 3 going to 12? 3, 4, 6, 7, 9. That's like 4 times, and it's a negative, so I'm going to be left with a negative 4, because a negative divided by a positive will be negative. And it's true, because 3 times negative 4 is negative 12. Fire a check mark. Oh yeah, you can say it with me next time. All right, negative 3 times x. So if I'm multiplying by negative 3, to undo it, I'm going to divide by negative 3. So x equals 12 divided by 3 is 6. A negative divided by a negative is positive. All right, I'm going to go back and check it. So negative 3 times 6 is negative 12, because a negative times a positive will be negative. It is true. Fire a check mark. All right, this guy right here. Whoa, this one's a little wild. This is a color changer. We're going to purple, okay? This negative m is actually negative 1m. That's what's happening here. We don't put the 1 in because 1 times anything is itself. So in algebra, we leave it there. So you're going to see a negative, it really means a 1. So to undo multiplying by negative 1, I am going to divide by negative 1, because negative 1 over negative 1 is positive 1. 10 divided by 1 is 10. A positive divided by a negative will be negative. Let's see if it's true. So negative 1 times negative 10 is 10. And that is true, because 10 times 10, 1 times 10 is 10. A negative times negative is positive. Fire a check mark. All right, this guy, last one. Finale, lean into it. Oh, there it is. There's another one. It's a 1. So divide by negative 1, both sides. So g equals, because negative 1 over negative 1 is 1. Negative 5 divided by negative 1 is 5. And a negative divided by a negative will be positive. So let's check it. Negative 1 times 5 is negative 5. Fire a check mark. All right, good work. Big plan, big thing. What it comes down to is simply got to undo it. How do you solve an equation? You undo the equation. Keep practicing. You'll get fantastic.